Okay, Brennan. Okay, good morning, everyone. For this meeting, March 13th, our work sessions are recorded as well. So if you speak, have questions, etc., it might be helpful for the recording because it won't pick you up unless you're standing to the front, but it'll pick up the voices. So identify yourself and where you're from, just so that is part of the recorded record of the work session. And this was requested by some of you with questions you had on Wolf Creek, progress up to date, etc. So I don't know if it's the desire of the group to have any kind of update from the engineer on the project or anybody with the project specifically. You want to go right into questions?
I guess I can start.
Sure. Go ahead, Paul.
Name's Paul Eichhoff. I'm a landowner within the Wolf Creek watershed, but I don't own any ground adjacent to the stream. But I have a few questions, and I'm here speaking on behalf of myself. Questions, so I'm not entertaining anything from the group itself. They may have questions, they may have concerns that are exactly opposite of mine. So these are just mine at the present time. But I guess my first question is, I guess I'm wondering why the engineering firm for the project is not here. I guess we had some questions. I'm I guess a little disappointed that engineering questions, we don't have them here to answer directly. The placement of the material that is being brought out of the channel, I guess in my opinion, is too close to the channel. I think it will re-enter the stream. It's just my opinion. But at the present time that I walked in the piles that I see and I have pictures of, it is, a lot of it is deposited right on the stream bank. And I do have a few things, if you'd like to see where on their plans, they say where it should be deposited and placed. And there's a few technical questions in there that I wish hopefully we can get answered today. And I guess that's my main point. I have other questions also, as far as when the project is completed and what is. But if you look on the front is a drawing from Feller and Finch that shows the area of which they should. You've seen it? Yeah.
As you're going through it, I'm gonna follow along.
That it says disposed of on the outside of the tree line in their drawings. And what I've seen most of it's being deposited on or close to the stream bank instead of the outer tree line. And I guess my question is how does piling wood within almost on the stream bank keep it from floating and re-entering the bank? Or into the stream, I should say.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Paul, for being conscientious and watching over this. I do appreciate that. So, so it's my understanding that it's 25 feet beyond the floodplain. Is that, and being secured behind a tree? Is that?
I don't know about the floodplain. I have two pictures of the floodplain just close to my place behind it, and that's the picture. The picture of the floodplain looks like it's the outer line of the trees or farther. In just my opinion, it looks like that's what it is. But I don't know that. That's why I wish the engineer of our project would be here to ask that question.
Yeah, they are the manager of the project. They're the inspecting, absolutely.
They're engineer and the inspector of the project.
That's my understanding.
So nobody oversees them?
Me.
Yes.
Yeah, Mark.
Yes, as I say there, yeah.
Have you been down through there and looked
I
at
have.
anything?
And I agree.
What's your opinion?
I agree.
Okay.
And we have, over
Yes,
the last
yes.
several weeks, addressed that issue with the contractor and with the inspector. First, why the contractor isn't following the plans, where they are supposed to be. I agree with everything Paul said. They are not stacking a lot of the trees and debris far enough away, and where they are stacking it is certainly not secured. As far as being a certain distance, you know, the distance, I think that we wanted 25 feet, 50 feet, 10 feet. The big issue is we want to secure it and we don't want to wash it back in the channel. It's the whole purpose of this project.
Right.
Until landowners have time to dispose of it, you know, however they're gonna dispose of it. So we have addressed that issue with the contractor. You know, as far as the engineering of it goes, the drawings that you're looking at are standard drawings from Department of Natural Resources. It's the way all ditch projects are supposed to be done. You know, not just, those drawings were not created for this project. So what we ask the contractor to do, what we expect the contractor to do, what we expect the inspector to be doing is standard. It is not anything over and above what any other project of this type is expected in the state of Ohio. So to that end, I did get another phone call and pictures from another landowner that has similar issues. I sent those on to the contractor and on to the inspector and told them we expect them to re-remove, because we not only did the possibility happen, we do have some that has washed back in. That they're expected first to get that out, and what I would like them to do is start basically at the beginning again and go back and re-secure or secure whatever they have already done to ensure that it does not wash back into the channel. So, I mean, that's a long way of saying, yeah, I agree.
Now, what about the areas where the floodplain is more than 25 feet away? What are they gonna do in those situations?
Well, what they are expected to do is to secure it behind other trees or whatever they need to do to keep it from washing back in. You know, we don't have any delineation out there, you know, in survey where the floodplain is.
Right.
But what I told them is there are obviously low areas, obviously areas that are prone to flooding that you can just naturally see. We need to keep debris, we need to keep trees out of those areas, if possible. Now, if there is a area that's, you know, usually longer, you know, the flood areas, they get long. Said stack them on the outside of those areas, you know, not right in the middle of the flood area. And I'm hoping that over the last week or so, I know they didn't work last week, or much anyhow, that since we have been talking to them, they have changed what they are doing, and they're doing a better job. My understanding from talking to the Feller Finches, they didn't work much last week, so I did not go out last week to see. I wasn't gonna go out there while they weren't working. But they should be back working again this week. I will go out and visit and see what they're doing, and reiterate to them again that we expect that everything that they're doing may need to be reattached and redone. So.
How far up the stream are they?
Between 5 and 84.
Okay,
After Eiler.
I was
around the
saying
bridge
5, but I didn't know how far past 5 they were, so,
Saturday they were past the bridge in Eiler.
okay.
That's where they were Saturday morning.
Yeah, the curve, in the curve there.
Yeah.
Where are we at with payment?
And until the work is completed,
We
and
don't.
what payment structure for them?
Yeah, we have been doing monthly,
Okay,
so there was a pay. We will hold the next pay.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, you hold the purse strings. so.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't pay tax there. But
Are they treating the stumps so they do not regrow?
The stumps that, they are supposed to be, yes. Stumps that are over 4 inches. I don't, there's a number, I think it's in there, but they are to be using, I recommended Tordon, which is what we use, but they are to be treating the stumps, yes.
I was looking yesterday when I drove by and I didn't see any turgon on it.
Okay. Yeah,
I would agree. In my area, David Kramer,
they have not been.
I have not seen any
Okay.
of the blue Tordon.
Yeah, it's obvious if they use it.
Right, if they are
turns it-
using something, it is colorless.
Okay, I will check on that,
Yeah.
so. Yeah, and that's something that certainly is supposed to be done while they're fresh. You know, it's not as effective on a tree you cut 2 months ago.
And I guess I have a question about the inspection. I believe, we hired Feller and Finch as an inspector. Was that the last appropriation in October for extra engineering? The 10,000, we had another appropriation, or there was another appropriation by the commissioners? Was that for the inspection process?
It's in it, I think that includes part of that, I
Don't-
can't answer that for sure, I don't know what.
I guess how often are they there inspecting? I guess how did we get this far with not being inspected to plans? I guess is my contention that, going forward, are we gonna have to go inspect it ourselves? I mean, if part of that is hiring them, I would think it should be done according to plans. And I could see maybe some, but it seems like everything that I've seen through the whole stream is not to plan, so I'm a little concerned about maybe not having quite the watchdog that maybe we hoped that we had.
I guess we definitely gonna need to review, and Mark might know it, I would certainly do not, the contract and see what the inspection schedule was. Is it based on number of days a week? Is it based on amount of work that has been advanced? And see if we need adjustments if we feel, and/or one, they need to comply if they're not, and/or do we need it more frequently than, or include something regarding weather-related,
Yeah.
events, that kind of thing.
And honestly,
In advance of.
the way we initially structured that is we were not having the inspector out there every hour they were working. And we did that to save money because the idea was that what they were doing, they were supposed to be doing to a plan. We don't need somebody out there shooting grade, we don't need somebody out there checking quantities. As they're cut every tree down, they need to go out several times a week, several times while they're working to ensure that they are consistently following the plans. Why they aren't, that I addressed that issue with Steve yesterday, and he's finding out. And I share their concern,
Yeah.
the landowner's concern. So.
What's your observation as far as dead standing trees and leaning trees? Are they doing an adequate job of addressing standing dead trees and leaning trees? Does anybody got any information on that?
Just what I've seen,
Okay.
I think the work that they are doing, cutting down and cleaning, the ditch out, I think that looks good. I think the problem is where they're stacking the material
Sure.
that they're removing. And that's where we're concerned that it's gonna re-enter the stream. And that's, I think, the biggest contention right now, that I see, speaking for myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shane, I got a call in the office at Soil and Water. There must be a willow that dropped in up there by the cuckoo's nest at the start of the project. One of the landowners called, so I just referred it over to your guys' office or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's, and that may very well, that's the area that I sent the pictures.
Okay.
So that he may have sent pictures.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, I
Was
did
it
receive a
reported
call.
as a dead tree or a leaning
There was
tree?
a willow tree that must have fell into the channel,
Okay.
and he thought that they already been through that area and cleaned it, didn't know if it was gonna be taken care of or whatever, so. They might have got a hold of Mark, so.
Okay.
There's a leaning tree, just observing from 592, if you look straight south of the railroad tracks, between 592 and the railroad tracks, there's one that's, the example you show here is exactly what it is. It's leaning across the bank all the way, probably a 45-degree angle. But since somebody's kind of backyard, that the house is right along their tracks, but it looked to me like it needed to be removed. It's gonna be in the ditch.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to remember that this is our project, right? So we want it to be done to our satisfaction. So collectively, we all have, some responsibility. We want Feller and Finch to provide the professional supervision, but we all want to, monitor the work ourselves as well. So I appreciate the effort of everyone because it needs to work. Any other thoughts or comments?
The only other question I have is once the plan is completed, the specifications, then it will go under maintenance, the way I understand it. And the maintenance then will take care of just what was in the plan. If I'm
It will take care of the petition
And the petition was,
to remove obstructions from the channel. So keep the thing clear of obstructions.
Just log jams for me, Mark, then?
For the most part, log jams, trees that may be, it may be sandbars if they're obstructions, and if they're obstructions that are, and reiterate this many times, that there are sandbars and channels that are there for, because nature put them there, especially on the insides of curves. We are not going to pay to remove sandbars that are going to just return. It doesn't make any sense to me. There are sandbars that are there as a result of these trees and some of these larger log jams that have resulted because the water has slowed behind these jams, and over the course of time and a number of storms, they are going to dissipate and disappear. And then there are some sandbars that may not. They may actually be causing issues in the channel. As we evaluate this project over the course of years, there may be some sandbars, a sandbar or two, I don't know, that may very well be impeding the flow and need to be removed. The petition was to remove obstructions, and I guess at that time it was, and I'll take that, my decision to say, do we remove all the sandbars? Do we not remove all the sandbars? And looking at them and why they're there, and knowing the nature of streams and knowing the nature of why sandbars exist, it didn't make sense for me to spend taxpayer money to do something that may very well A, take care of itself, or B, be right back in the exact same place within a year, and then we're out there doing it again. And then Joe and Ditch Maintenance are out there removing sandbars from the insides of these curves every year. It doesn't make sense. So right or wrong, good or bad, that's the decision I was making.
Yes.
We have one sandbar down on Route 12, and we removed the willow trees that was growing on it probably about 10 years ago, 15 years ago. They did not re-sprout, so that there has got the roots in it, and that sandbar will never go out. And I don't know how soon we can get that out of there, because that's one of the number ones, just like a log jam. That is one bad one, and it will not come out. So I don't know when we can get that out of there. If that'll come out with this group going through.
This group is not. This group is doing the contract. So.
Yeah.
So I guess if that's once where the contract's complete, and if that has not budged and is an obstruction, it can be addressed with the maintenance.
It can be, or if it is a bigger issue than that, it can be a small contract to be done. Yeah.
Okay.
which would be just administrated by ditch maintenance then.
It could be, yes. I mean, there are other, if it were deemed to be a big enough project that the commissioners felt that it was not something that maintenance had the initial responsibility to do, that they could do another contract for it. It would make sense to do under maintenance because the structure is already there for paying for it. Once you start collecting maintenance fees, and then that assessment schedule already exists to spread that cost back over the landowners. But it could be handled just through a normal contract. So.
When will assessment schedules be available?
It's a good question. my best understanding of what we are looking at is that if we have the project completed by, I think, the time wheat's off, so middle to end of July, for project completion, by the time we rework the watershed and update ownership information, if we can have the auditor's office, the assessments by end August, I think, that gives her time to have that ready for the first tax bills of 2019.
And just to be clear, Feller and Finch has been contracted to do all that assessment.
I am helping them, once again, to keep costs down, so.
Okay.
Yeah. In the schedule update we did well over a year ago was that they would have to work with the county on, once they
Right.
got to the assessment part of it. And that August was our target deadline in order to schedule the auditor's office.
Right.
Yes.
Shane, back on the sandbars in Holly, as soon as we take it over in maintenance, I'm sure the next day I'm gonna get a call from Pat that wants to remove that. Right, Pat? But is that something we can take care of now, like you said, in a small contract or something? Because I don't know, I might get more complaints from maybe somebody upstream that says, hey, wasn't this taken care of beforehand, or?
What I certainly can do, if you would like, is talk to Unalliance. They certainly have the equipment to do it. It is already part of, it's not like writing anything to the petition. The petition is to remove obstructions and get a cost on what it would be, and bring that back to you and share, and we could do an addendum to the contract for that. While they are there and while they have their equipment there to remove it. Working through the Corps and the EPA, my initial understanding of all the permitting that we would need to do, they don't, as long as we aren't rechannelizing, as long as we aren't removing or adding anything, as long as the material that we're removing is being removed off-site, we are not going to be required to get any permitting whatsoever, which is good. So it is simply a thing that if you want and the price is right, we could do that through this contract with an addendum. Certainly. One thing we would need to do is have a place for removal or disposition of the material. So if anybody needs fill in the area, that would certainly be handy, because the biggest cost of any of these projects is hauling dirt, hauling the stuff away. So if it's a decent quality and we can use it, then maybe we could use it. And stockpile for future road projects, but that's always there too. So,
Yes, sir.
I was approached not too long ago, and you started at 18, and these people live just south of 18 by the golf course, and they said there's log jams up in there, and they said, well, they're going the other way, when they're going to go the other way. I said I couldn't answer the question, so I didn't know if they're going down all the way to the bottom and then coming back up to go south, or is that the starting point?
the project was started at 18.
So I'll just tell them that's where she started. That's where it's going always, the maintenance is going to
That is
start at
correct.
18
At the
north?
bridge, yeah.
Okay.
Mark, in answer to your question, I think we should get the quote, in my opinion, to see what it would cost them to possibly do that. If we don't think that's reasonable, then we'll talk to Joe and his sand bucket crew. But we'll, I think we ought to look at it.
Okay.
Like I said, if timing is of such, maybe that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't want to substitute our judgment for your judgment, but if it's, I want to get the water to Sandusky County, so the best way to do that, if they need to come out, I would be open to that as well.
Do you think it'd take them long it shouldn't take long to prepare that, would it?
My guess is that you know, Russ from Unilines to look at it and give me a price.
Yeah.
So, no, to answer your question, I don't think so.
Other concerns, so forth?
If I could get the spelling of Mr. Eichhoff's last name, please.
EICKHOFF.
And where do you live, Mr. Eichhoff?
It's County Road 60.
And the other question I have is, I guess is for Mark, if they've got to go back and redo some of this, who's paying for that?
They are.
Okay.
And the point is that we won't be releasing funds until we have an agreement on this, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that's gonna be true until we certify completion and that's true with all, that's true with all contracts. The contractor is responsible for the work until we sign the certification of completion, until we have certified that the job is done and done to our satisfaction. And at that time, that releases them to their, which I don't remember on this project, if we have a maintenance bond or not, I just don't remember. That time, it would release it to the maintenance bond, and if it doesn't release it to the maintenance bond, if we didn't build that into the contract, then we release it to maintenance.
Thank you.
Further concerns, comments, questions? Anybody wants to share regarding Wolf Creek?
I just have one more real quick. We talked about assessments, but yet the sandbars or any obstructions, I should say, won't be completed at that point of final inspection of the creek when they're done working, correct?
My hope is that it will.
But some of them will be either moving or reappearing different places.
Some of them? We're talking about
May.
one.
Well, no, I mean others. You said some may, like on curves, they might disappear or they might reform.
Well, the ones on
different
curves
places.
won't disappear.
Well, I guess what I'm, at that point, the project would be complete.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the money that's in there for the maintenance, the paying back of this, then also continues for additional, weather's gonna happen, more trees are gonna fall, you know, things are
Right.
gonna occur, and that's part of the maintenance then after this contract. And that's what that money's for.
Yeah, and I mean, I assume for the most part, it's gonna be spraying to keep brush down and keep trees from coming back. But maybe not. I mean, maybe you can't spray it
I
that
can't-
close to the channel, so I don't know those rules.
No, I wasn't in
The best way to do that, I don't know. I mean, that's their expertise.
I got a question, and maybe Joe could answer this, but can maintenance go beyond the scope of the initial project?
I don't
The
think so, Mark.
petition is to clear obstructions.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
And all we can do is clear obstructions.
Okay, so sandbars would be
someday-
included in that.
If they're
They
obstruction,
could be,
Now,
okay,
After he gets it up to spec,
right.
Right.
Now, maintenance is not, you can't, for instance, start adding, you know, if there's a washout, you can't start adding riprap. That's not what the maintenance, that's not what
Okay.
this project
But-
was. You know, or cleaning and channelizing.
I just wondered if
That's not what
sandbars
this
could
project
be addressed later if the initial project's just to remove the log jams.
I think, so. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but my interpretation of the law is that whatever the petition is, you know, the job is to clear obstructions. So if in the future, a new sandbar forms that is actually causing an obstruction, that is, you know,
Okay.
that needs to be removed, it could be done under maintenance. Like I said, I'm not,
Okay.
I don't think we can spray it though, Mark.
it may be not, as I said, it may just be too close to the channel, or,
Well, it wasn't, I don't think it was in the petition, was it? I
well, to
mean,
maintain obstructions, so.
obtain
I-
instructions, but I don't
Right.
think I can go out and spray the channel, keep brush down,
Well,
like we do.
yeah, I don't know.
If to remove obstructions is in the contract now, it has to come to one. He's talking about it's not being removed under the initial contract.
Well, at the initial time, when we looked at it, we just didn't remove any sandbars. So it, you know, and it
But
just,
there's the stumps are there though, that's my question. That's an obstruction. When that be considered an obstruction? I'm just asking.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we just said no sandbars are coming out, and we're gonna do obstructions as far as trees.
Thank you, everyone, for coming in. It's a community project, and we need all of your help, so appreciate it.
And we thank you for
Thank
taking
you.
the time and listening to our concerns.
Let's keep at it. Let's get it done. Thank you. Y'all are welcome to stay to the riveting meeting that starts at 10 o'clock.
But we aren't offended if you
Yeah, but we're
have other things you have to
Bill
do.
doesn't have any.
Taxpayers are paying you, go back to work.
Yes, I do.
I'm happy to hear that they did.
Thank you.
That aren't treated.
You guys.
I mean, unless they used clear treatment.
And they could have.
I think pour down.
Well, it depends probably if it's brand new. I don't know. It is, it's marked, but I don't know if it's brand new. Clear.
If I was in charge, if I was a contractor, I would have my guys.
You got it. I think that's good stuff.
I mean,
Guide to see what you're doing.
Probably figured that out. Stacy Wilson, County Administrator. I'm gonna talk with you on the phone. Could be, might have been Nikki. Okay.
Hi, Joey.
That way, if I see you,
They just took a break for us.
All right.
I'll be up there.
Timing was impeccable.
Well, I was telling my son, why did they leave 5 minutes earlier?
You give yourself the time I
There's many who
No,
can.
I ended up
Probably
waking
the
up
same
later.
with
Days kind of.
Do I run?
I know, I always.
See, I'm not a
Every day.
morning person, like, I can be on time for any meeting starting after 11 o'clock
Has the same name.
or 10 o'clock.
He was awfully snarky last night.
Yeah, I know.
We'll be here next week. I don't think I can read. Sure.
It's too vague.
That's fine.
I was like, oh, honey, come on, just stop.
Hello, I'm Shane Thomas.
Yeah, I've been the one that's emailing with.
Like, I work.
Appreciate it. Nice to meet you.
It kind of makes, it kind of makes sense to move the flow, but
So, that spreadsheet.
I thought we were gonna be friends.
For all like the community services that they do.
Yeah, we'll see you. Thanks.
Mark that over.
Thank you.
So yeah, so send us that great big spreadsheet
Yes.
you need to fill
But
out
anyway,
services that are available.
are
For
you
the chip grant that's coming up? I don't know if you got it or not.
How many stations?
Yes.
Still have it.
2, 3, 4.
If you see it, you don't need to worry about it because I have all the referral and resources for the county. So I'm